Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we will be learning how to illustrate a face using Inkscape. I'm using the Inkscape version 1.1, so if you haven't gotten this version, it should be the newest version at this point, currently version 1.1 Inkscape. There are some new features here, but if you're not using the same version, it might look different to you, but this is from a previous tutorial I did. It was on how to illustrate hair, and for this tutorial we're going to be learning how to finish up the rest of the face. So this was the image we used. I'm just going to copy the background image and show you here. So for this tutorial we're just going to make the rest of the face using Inkscape. So it's going to be an intermediate level tutorial, so at least you should have a handle of the basics of graphic design. I'm just going to make it as simple and easy to understand as possible. So first of all, I'm just going to go to view and open up my X-ray mode, just split mode X-ray. With this I'm going to see the image in the background, so I'll know exactly where I am putting the vectors, the shapes. So while I design, while I illustrate, I work directly on top of the image. So I wouldn't want to use reference image, and to keep a reference image at the side and to transfer it side by side, I would just place it directly on top of the background image, and I'll be using that to design every shade, detail, light, every single middle tone. So that is what I'll be using. If your X-ray mode isn't as large as this, you will want to go to your preferences and change some settings. So by default it is 100. If you go to rendering, go to X-ray radius. Normally it's 100, so I'm using 206 to make it large enough for me to see a large good area, a good portion of the image. So just going to go to my desired curves tool, and for the face, while I'm illustrating faces, I usually start with the eyes, nose, mouth. You may not want to follow the same order, but I like following the eyes. Let's get to it. So with our desired curves tool selected, just gonna follow the eye. I'm gonna try to do this as fast as possible. Okay, that is that for the other eye. This was a request from one of our subscribers. He or she wanted a tutorial on how to make the rest of the face. So this is for you, bro. So that is the pupil, and before we continue, I'm just gonna take off the fills for each of these shapes and let them be with just strokes. So I'm just gonna remove the stroke fill, Ctrl+Shift+F from my keyboard to bring up fills and strokes, and let's remove the fills and let's give them strokes. Let's make that thinner. It's about 0.1 millimeters. Let's do the same for this. Okay, cool. Just gonna focus on making most of the detail, and I will add the color later. So let's get to it. Currently I am just using the Ellipse tool to draw circles around each of the areas. So the light on the pupil, darker part is circle as well. So I am just using each tool necessary for each part of the face to make it the way it is. The idea behind this is to create lines along each and every corner of the face, the part you want on your design. So like the nostrils, you carve the nostril itself, you put the shades, the lights. So currently we are making the corners first. Then the lips. Just gonna start with the upper lip, then the lower lip. For the rest of the shape, I'm just going to make it overlap. One of the upper lip will cover the lower lip, so that line I just drew won't show. So let's see what we have. Kind of looking creepy, but let's continue working on it. Add more detail till it looks cool. Let's examine this eyebrow for a second. It has a thicker section, and it has the fray, like strands of eyebrow coming off of it. So I'm just going to start with the thickest part that has less skin showing underneath. And the other part would be, I'm just going to make it like strands coming off of it. If you can remember, that is how we did the hair. The strand is coming off along the hair. I did it separately. The other side was just a thick shape. So along the thick area of the eyebrow, I'm just going to make a shape to cover it. Then the other parts coming off of it, I would make strands to fall off from it. Cool. We have eyebrows and eyes, nose, lips. Okay. Looking good. Let's get to the shades. I'm just gonna start with the darker shade, then I will come to the lighter shade. Let's see the part beneath the hair. This part beneath the hair looks darker, so I'm just gonna trace it. For a second, let's turn off this X-ray mode. So let's get to view, split, none. Select tool. Let's give this a fill and see what it looks like. Let's give it this dark brown fill. Let's take off the stroke. Let's send it to the back. Let's bring it to the front a little. Let's reduce the opacity for it. Let's blur it up a little. Good. Okay. Let's add some shades to the face. Let's return to our X-ray mode. Alt 6. Did we get it? Alt 6. Returns our X-ray mode. Let's start with the shades. Let's continue with the shades. Okay, I see an area around here. Actually, let me use split. Split mode, you could see the designing section. So let's just focus and work on the shades. Just gonna trace it. This part looks darker to me. Actually, let's take off this fill. Let's give it some stroke. Return the opacity to 100. Let's just focus on tracing the shades along this. The shades on this, let's just trace them. I can see this part is dark around the face, across the nose. Just gonna end it off here. I can also see this part is dark. This section as well. The eye will cover up this extra line I drew. The eye itself will cover that part up. Let's make some extra shade here along the eye. This additional line I drew will be covered by the eye. Still the same for this section. Let's go to the lighter parts, the highlights. I can see there's a highlight over here. There is a fainter middle tone along this area. So we are dealing with shades, highlights, middle tones. So it looks like this part is a bit of a middle tone. And we have some sort of highlights here. And on the forehead, I can see some sort of middle tone here. Looks like middle tone. Then let's just add some sort of middle tone here, especially the chin. Looks like a highlight. It is more like you're drawing contours along the face. You can see some sort of, sometimes when I'm illustrating, when I'm designing, it feels like I'm doing some kind of makeup. I have no no makeup skills, but I feel I could do good. I could do well. I could do a good job if I became a makeup artist. Looks nothing like what you want, but let's start adding colors. Let's start with the eyes. The eye, we'll give it white, fill it up with white. There's the other eye, fill it up with white as well. The other one, let's give it black for now. I know our eye colors are not black, but let's gray. Inner circle, let's give it black. These two reflections, let's give them white. Let's bring this to the front. Cool. Now, I'm just going to convert this into a clip group. We have a tutorial on how to work with clip groups using Inkscape. So if you haven't looked at it yet, you should look at it. So I'm just going to work through it quickly and put this within the pupil. Just going to pause for a second and determine the base color for this face, because she looks a bit reddish in the image. And over here, I know we want to have that cartoon like feel, but it feels to me like this color is not what I really want. Let's add some red. No, or should I leave it? I'll leave it that way. Let's leave it that way. Let's start adding variations from the base color. So we know this is a bit of a middle tone. Let's fill it up with the base color. Let's slide this L up a bit. It's gonna give it a bit of lighting. Remove the stroke, stand it back. Actually, that is okay. I'm gonna reduce the saturation. Okay, this color switch, no fill. Okay. For the lips, let's decide on the color for the lips. It's a bit of a reddish, let's say a reddish brown, I think. Let's give it some, let's pick the color from here. That looks okay. Now I'm just gonna lighten it up a bit. Maybe increase the saturation a little. It looks good to me. For the eyes, for the eyebrow, let's give it the same color as the hair. Same hair color. Good. Now let's add some shades. These two look like shades to me. Just gonna make it a variation of the base color, and I will slide the light backwards to give it like a shade. Since it's cartoon like, I'm just gonna reduce some saturation off of it. Not too much. Just enough for it not to look too odd. Okay. Right. This is a highlight as well. Take off the stroke. What to the highlight do we have? We know this is a shade. These two are shades. Let's give them this color. Let's convert the face into a clip group and put those two shapes in them. But first of all, let's take up the strokes. Cool. This is gonna place them inside the face. There we have it. But before we do that, let's duplicate this face off. Just gonna duplicate this face. Select that, bring it for little. Just know what we're dealing with. Enter clip group, paste it within the clip group. Take out the fill, leave it with a stroke. Right, let's send this one, let's lower it. Let's reduce the opacity for this, for these two shapes. Let's increase, let's make these ones darker. Cool. Let's give that, remove the strokes, lower it. Just gonna make that reddish. These two actually looked reddish. Let's reduce the opacity for them. Cool. Let's also reduce the opacity for this, so she doesn't look like Joker, you know, from Batman. Let's make that brown. Let's add some shade to this as well. Reduce opacity, take off the stroke, take off the stroke for this one. Let's make that reddish, or let's increase the saturation for that. Reduce opacity, reduce opacity. You know, when working with shades, middle tones, highlights, I usually work a lot with the opacity, you know, to get different gradient, different flows to it. So for this, I'm just going to make it a gradient, just to fall off from that corner, so everything doesn't look just flat. Let's adjust this. Now let's send this to the back. Let's send this backward, just beneath. Let's split it. Let's look at the split view. That part looks dark. So I'm just gonna make it the same as that one. Bring it forward a little. Take off the stroke. Let's reduce this. Let's reduce the opacity for this one. And for this, let's reduce the saturation for this. Reduce the lighting for this. Good. Let's work on the eyes. She kind of looks creepy. This one has a different feel from that one. Let's work on the eyes. Return to our split view. Okay, just gonna start by reducing, making this look a little bit gray. Control click to get to the base color, to get to the base shapes. This is a clip group now, so if you control click, it gets to the shape itself, the inherent shape. I wonder how to explain it in another way. So I'm just gonna adjust the color for that, make it not too white but just grayish. Let's take that. Okay, now let's add some detail to the eye. I could see not entirely everywhere is white. Like this part is a bit brownish. Let's return that. Let's make the rest of it. Just gonna round it off and complete. Now I would be putting it. Let's make that brownish. Just gonna cut it, enter it into the clip group and paste it. There it is. Let's give it that. While we're still inside, let's enter the clip group and let's make an ellipse around the eye. With this, I'll be adding some details here. Let's make it purely white. Let's lower it. Let me adjust the color for this. Make it brownish, increase saturation, reduce opacity. Same goes for this. Okay. Let's add more shades to this. It looks like she's kind of staring us down. Let's make the eye, let's give it some more shades so it feels more natural. There's a way when you're illustrating faces, pay attention to the shades. Let's just show you. Enter into the shape. Let's make a shade along the top. There's a way you could illustrate the eyes and it looks really, really creepy. Let's add some shade. Let's make that dark. Let's reduce opacity. That not all the way down, but yes. If you compare the two of them, this one looks flat, but this one has some more detail to it. Let's add some detail to the pupil. She's got some brownish, so I'm just going to duplicate this, reduce the size, give that brown. Let's give this a gradient. Nah, it looks like it's too saturated. Let's reduce the opacity. Let's reduce the opacity for this. Let's take off the stroke for that let's leave that as it is. More shades. No stroke. Actually, let's reduce that a little. Same goes for this one. No strokes. Send that back. Nostrils, that will be not too dark but really dark. Let's work with this. No strokes. Let's add some detail around this nose. Just gonna complete off this shape and take off the stroke and give it some fill and make it black. Same goes for this. Take off strokes on that. Yes, that reminds me, let's there's a bit of a lighter part beneath the eye, so I just made that. Then the extra shade on the eye. The whole area of the eye looks dark, so I'm just gonna shade that up. Send the shape to the back. Okay, this looks yellowish. Let me turn that to red. The shades, they look too reddish in my eyes, so I'm just gonna add some red to that. Let's increase the stroke fill for the eyes. Let's select, actually I duplicated this while I was working on it, so I'm just gonna control click, alt click, select the one under, this one under, and let's increase the stroke around that. I want to highlight her eyes because I want a bit more detail on the eyes. Just gonna duplicate this and make it and reduce the size. There's some shades below the hair as well. Sweet it up with the other shades. Take off the strokes. Just gonna cut this, then I'm gonna enter into the face group and paste it. There they are. I'm gonna add some shade to this area as well, because this part looks dark compared to the rest. And along the sides of the face, we'll just go ahead and add some shades so it doesn't look too flat. Along the jawline, let's give it a stroke. Let's get to the neck, give it a feel. This neck is a shape on its own. Let's get a feel and let's trace the remaining section. There are some gradients. Currently the neck looks flat, it's a flat color. Let's give it some gradients. So the neck looks darker than the other parts of the face, so let's than the other parts of the body. Let's give it a dark color. And what else do we notice? The areas down here is dark. The area down here on this other side is dark. Then the part just underneath the collar is dark as well. Let's give that special attention. And we notice we have a middle tone here, and some sort of, okay, it's not really noticeable, but there was a shade around here. Let's return our split and let's select these two sides, give them a fill. Okay, retain the fill, take off the strokes, cut them, create clip group, enter the clip group, paste them there, and reduce the lighting. Give this the same color as the base color, increase its brightness, take off the strokes, give this the same color as the shades, and reduce it further and take off the stroke, cut it, enter into the clip group, paste it, and let's take off some saturation from it and reduce some lights on it. Let's select these two and take off some saturation in it. Let's give this a little bit of gradient and let's reduce the opacity for all of it. Looking good, is it? Well, let's not give it a gradient, let's leave it as a flat color and use the opacity for it. add some detail to the lips. I can see, let's give this some more stroke on it. Let's add another one here. Just to highlight the meeting point. Take what we feel from that. Reduce stroke. I'm just gonna make a general highlights on this for middle tone. You can see a highlight here. Let me just use my freehand tool and just draw some details on it. I think that should be enough. So let's give this a gradient. This would be darker, and then let's give this that color, and let's select the same base color and raise the lighting from there. Let's take off the stroke. Let's even give this further a much lighter color. Take off the stroke, increase that. Actually, let me delete this. I'm looking good. Let's delete that. Let's add another one here and another there. So two of them, same stroke, lighter. Even this one much lighter. I think that would do. That would do. This line along the face looks too odd. Let's adjust the stroke on that. This is a darker color. And then let me adjust the tip. Let's go to path. I want to make the ends of this stroke thin. I want it to be pointy, not rounded. So the ends will not be too visible. I'm looking for power stroke. That gives us that, and let's adjust it. The ends are rounded with factor. Looking good. Looks like this part is a bit darker. Let's add the shade for that, and then this area is dark as well. And there's a bit of a middle tone around here. Same as this one. Generally, I'm just gonna make this part dark. Just trace it and apply a fill to it, then reduce the opacity. I just want this eye to look like our reference image. Just give it some darkness, take off the stroke. Let's pick this color, darker, less opacity, a bit reddish, less opacity. Let's reduce this, let's send it to the back. Let's blur it up a little. And that will do it. Let's reduce the opacity. Same for this one. Let's blur it up a little. Let's reduce the opacity. Send it backward. Better. Let's see much reduced opacity. Oh, something is missing. The eyelashes. Something was missing. Didn't feel really natural. Let's put the eyelashes. So we just go to our freehand tool and let's put the shape triangle out. What does it look like? No, let's reduce the size. Something really small like 0.2 or 0.5. Let's go with 0.10. Okay, let's work with that. So that's what we were missing. It didn't feel natural at all. I felt like I was missing something. The eyelashes. Let's give it there we have it. I just adjusted some settings like the scale 0.1 and the shape triangle out. Let's see what it looks like. Let's give it black. Reduce the opacity of it too. Let there be some reflection in the eye. I need something like this in the eye, like some kind of reflection of light in the eye. So it pops up a little. Let's do the same for this. Let's add some strokes for the eyebrows. I'll be using the freehand tool. Let's make it ellipse. What does ellipse look like? Ellipse, let's give that 0.1. No, let's make a new let's make it flat. Good. Let's work with this. Just using Ctrl Shift, scroll up or down to rotate my screen. So I'll just finish up the rest of the eyebrow. Looks like the shade on the eye extends to this area, so I'm just gonna add that. It's amazing how various contours around the face can really change the look of a person. You know, the uniqueness. Many animals are just they just look similar, but human beings, our faces are very, very unique. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. With a bit more time, we could add more details to it and make it look more stylish. But with this, you've gotten the hang of how to illustrate a face using Inkscape. It follows basically almost the same pattern. It follows almost basically the same pattern, except there are some awesome stylish effects you would want to add to your design. But with this, you can make one yourself. Ain't we right? Yes, that's right, you can make one yourself. Thank you very much for watching, guys. More tutorials coming up, and the links to this project file is in the description down below. So if you need these files, you could download them down in the description of this video. The SVG file, the exported file, the source image, everything you need will be in the source in the description down below. So thank you very much for watching. See you on the next video.